This video is not trying to go viral. I'm not here to do the fancy edits and blowing up all over the place. Instead, I'm trying to build something real. There's this weird pressure when you're trying to create content, especially if you're in your 30s or your 40s. It just feels like everyone's so far ahead of you. If you're trying to build a business with your personal brand, it just feels like YouTube is just not made for people like us. But I think that's wrong. I don't think that you need to use this fake energy or be super young and especially spend a lot of time editing. In fact, I cut down my editing a lot in the past few videos. Instead, I wanted to build something real, but that also brings more value to you. You don't need to spend constant hours of editing, refilming your edits, and having a high energy for you to feel like it's worth posting. All you need to do instead is just show up, just like I'm doing right now. There's not a ton of crazy edits. In fact, the only edits I'm doing is when I'm thinking, or the blanks, and all of that. And apart from that, nothing is edited. That's very different from the edits that I did a while back. And so I'm enjoying the process a lot more because I feel more raw, more connected to you, and I'm talking to you like I would talk to a friend when I'm on a road trip at a restaurant or anything like that. And in this video, I want to talk to you about how I'm actually doing this in the most honest way that I can so you can do exactly the same thing. And I think the key here is you don't need to go viral to actually win. There's people that are making millions and millions of views, spending millions of dollars editing their videos, trying to grow perfectly and be the best at doing what they can, but they don't necessarily translate that into sales or into a business that they can do for their own, which if you're like me, I'm 37, so if you're in your 30s or 40s, there's a good chance that you're not just doing YouTube to build the views and the subscribers. Instead, you're probably trying to build a business, and that's what this channel is all about. It's more about being real and building a business than getting those vanity metrics, and truthfully, I think that people should not really care about. Yes, if you're 18 or 19 years old, you probably care about the views because it makes you look good. But if you're trying to build a business in your 30s or 40s, the most important thing is the connection. Sure, if you have a million views that people are super connected, then that's great. But having the views is not what I'm trying to look for. Instead, I'm trying to look for connection, which in turn, yes, will turn into some views, but views of the right kind of people. You see, I think that a lot of people, when they're trying to build a brand or a YouTube channel, they have to build something perfect that's very edited, that has the best lighting, that has the best camera, and basically having the perfect video. And on top of that, every video should be a winning video with massive views. And when you're overwhelmed with all this information, plus your life, you probably have a job, you might have kids, and all those things just come into play, and you just end up doing nothing and scrolling down on your phone, for example. And when you do that, you start thinking, well, it's probably too late. The boat has sailed past now. I'm 30, I'm 40, and people are making millions, but they're all 18 years old. But truthfully, that is not true at all. You know, I've mentioned this in some other videos, but when I first started this channel, I was trying to be like everyone else. I was trying to be somebody that would do those high edited videos, crazy music and animations that were coming in, trying to make people feel a certain way and amped up things, and trying to do the business side hustles or the 10 best side hustles that you can do. But it turns out that one, it wasn't me, two, it wasn't serving the audience that I wanted to share, and three, I wasn't enjoying the process as much. And since it wasn't me, I wasn't enjoying the process as much, I wasn't getting the views either. I think the question that I want to ask you is, or I want you to ask yourself, is, why are you not posting? Is it because you're scared of what other people might think? Because that's very true no matter your age. Or maybe you just think it's not good enough. But the truth is, these are just excuses that you make up for yourself, that once you film, you realize that it's not going to be a big deal anyways. The thing is, if you're in your 30s or 40s, yes, you're older than some other people. Yes, if you're in your 30s or 40s, you probably don't have the time that those younger people have. But what you do have is your life experiences, and those people don't have those life experiences. So sharing those can be a big help in building your personal brand. And a personal brand doesn't have to be negative. I think that oftentimes we look at a personal brand and think that it's some kind of influencer or somebody that's trying to be someone they're not. But actually having a real personal brand, and I'm sure you're watching a lot of people that are extremely real on this platform, they are true to themselves, but they also have a personal brand. So I think that you need to share what you're experiencing with and what your personal experiences are. But it's also what you're not doing. We talked about the editing earlier on this video, or it can be performing for the algorithm. And even though I think that you do need to niche down, there are several aspects that you can turn into your personal brand that are relevant to the subject that you want to talk about and that you want to share. The other thing that you have to come into consideration is what mindset you're trying to keep. You know, I'm doing this on camera and I shared a few videos back that I wanted to change my style completely, which is what I'm doing, and something more raw. And I'm just figuring it out in public. I'm just putting videos out in public. And I think that that is a great way to share your story and share what your evolution is. Whatever you're trying to share, whatever you're sharing at that point, in that point is in time, is who you are, and trying to bring that a lot closer. Yes, it's going to be a little bit different on camera because you feel like you're not talking to somebody in real life. But the more you do it, the more you do feel like you're talking to someone in real life, and the more you're going to feel like it's yourself and not some persona that you're just putting on in camera. It does feel a bit weird because being natural is something that you have to work towards, whereas not being natural and putting on a persona does feel more natural on camera, but it's something that you just have to work towards. And the more you talk to your camera, the more you feel like you're talking to someone. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do, trying to talk to a friend instead of talking to a camera. And it's still work in process, but I do feel like when I watch my videos back now, I feel a lot more like myself than I did a few videos back where I was just shouting on camera and being overly excited. Now, if you see me on real life, that is very much the person that you're going to meet if you do meet me in real life. And the reason why I want to do this is because I want to build a real connection with you watching the video and not just get a million views. Because if you get a million views, sure, you're going to feel good for a few seconds and feel like it's an ego boost. But really, I'd rather have 100 real views of real people that are genuinely interested in my story and the message that I want to share, rather than people who just watch my videos because they're entertaining and they'll never buy anything, or they don't want to build a business, they don't want to improve their lives in any sort of way. If you're trying to build a business, if you're trying to build a personal brand, then that's the person that I want to watch my videos, not some random people. And that's what turns a real business. I've seen so many million subscriber channels that make very little money, and I've seen so many smaller channels that are making millions of dollars a year. And the reason is they build a real connection instead of just trying to be entertaining and some influencer out of a reality TV show. So the idea of this video is really trying to reframe success. It's not about the likes and the views, it's more about the connection and the leverage that you can have when you're doing those genuine videos without too many cuts. In fact, I'm striving towards those videos where I can finally put a video out that has 0 cuts. I'm not here yet. I'm still doing a lot of cuts, but that's what I'm striving for, because that is going to be the real me. That's going to be the more truthful and the more raw that I can be, the better. And on top of that, I can spend more time doing sports, hanging out with my future wife, my dog, and not worry about so many edits. Now, I've cut down my edits by a lot, but still, I do have to cut down the part where I'm saying nothing. So my encouragement to you is to make a raw video, as very little cuts as possible, no zooms, no added sounds, no nothing, and people will connect to you a lot more. So that's my encouragement to you. Are you doing this week? And this is my new style of making videos. It's just going to be very raw, the only thing that's different is going to be the lighting, because I think that makes it a little bit better. The mic, because I have to have a proper sound, even though the last video wasn't quite there. Hopefully this one is. So if you want to build a personal brand, a real personal brand without the gimmicks, more tailored towards people of our age, if you're 30 or 40 years old, it's going to be somewhere along those lines. It's not going to be tailored to somebody that's 18 years old, because they do want the flashes, but it's just overwhelming for people like us who were not born with TikTok, even though some people use it. I personally post on TikTok, but the attention span that we have is a little different than the people who are younger than us. So I'd love for you to come for the ride. And YouTube has some crazy algorithm, and yes, I'm talking about the algorithm. They make crazy calculations of which video you should see next. So there will be a video that pops up somewhere up here or up here that will be the best for you. So make sure you watch that, because YouTube thinks that you should watch it.